This is Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk on Icrt.
Welcome to Taiwan Talk. I'm Eric Smith, and today we're speaking with former DPP chairperson and 2012 DPP presidential candidate Tsai Ing-wen. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. You've been away from politics a little while now, and has it been nice to have a bit of a break from that?
Of course, it's a wonderful life nowadays. I don't have to be bothered by things people said about me or newspapers.
But you have been busy. You've started a new foundation, 小营教育基金会, or
yes.
Thinking Taiwan Foundation?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's the goals, its mission?
The economy here. The continuing weakening of the economy here is the number one concern of the people here. So we talked to quite a number of economists and business people here, and they all think that we need to look for a new model for economic growth, because for years, for decades, we have been relying on export of industrial products as the main driving force for our economic growth. So people have been talking about it for a while. That is, people generally think that we do have a need to come up with new ideas, new attitudes, and essentially a new mode of economic growth here. So what we do is that we will look for best practices, best models, business models, in different sectors of the economy here. People generally agree that we need to move from cost-based competition to innovation and value-based competition. But adding value to our products is a challenge. We have to think about ways to increase domestic demand for domestic products, and products that cannot be replaced by imported products.
Right.
So we will be looking at products that are more closely linked to the land and people here. In a way, we're trying to develop a new type of economics, the rural economics rather than urban economics or economics related to industrial productions. The challenge is how you combine your ability to produce agricultural products, your ability to produce industrial products, your ability to provide services. Combine all these abilities together, and then you come up with a new type of product that combines probably elements of these three types of different types of products.
Sounds like quite a challenge.
It is, but you have to produce jobs for people here, and jobs have to come up with an economic process that is closely or more closely linked to the land and the people here.
I'm sure you would agree that empowering women would be one step that would further economic progress in Taiwan. And on the topic of empowering women, Taiwan actually ranks relatively high on the United Nations scale of gender empowerment measures. In fact, it's in some years past, it was the highest in Asia, and even beat out some Western countries. We've had a female or a woman vice president in Taiwan, and of course you ran for president this year, which was another step forward for women in politics. But of course we could always do better, and it'd be nice to get to the Scandinavian levels of, say, 45-50% participation. What do you think Taiwan needs to do to continue this or further this participation of women in public life in general?
Well, I think movement today here are more assertive than before, and they're more confident. The recent trend is that we have found that the voters seem to have a preference for women candidates, but not for offices of all types. For instance, if we're talking about local magistrates, legislators, local council members, and you would see a trend that people favors a woman candidate. But when we're talking about president, that is another thing. So this past presidential election, it was actually a test of the people here to see to what extent they would accept a woman leader for the country. So my own sense is that it's a mixed situation.
Tune in tomorrow for part 2, where we'll discuss the presidential election and talk about the steps Dr. Tsai believes the DPP needs to take. Thanks for tuning in to Taiwan Talk. I'm Eric Smith.
This is Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk on Icrt.
Welcome to Taiwan Talk. I'm Eric Smith, and today we're featuring part 2 of an interview with former DPP chairperson Tsai Ing-wen, who was the party's candidate for president in the January 14th election. I asked Dr. Tsai what that experience was like.
It is a very intense process. I mean, you have to meet so many people, talking to so many people with different, very diverse backgrounds, and you have to find ways to communicate them, and you have to explain to them your values, your policies, and trying to convince people that you are a better choice. So it is a very intense process, especially in the last campaign. You're challenging an incumbent, and that make it doubly difficult. And then we have limited resources, unlike candidates from the KMT. The party has so much party assets and can mobilize so much resources to help their campaign. So it was a difficult campaign for a DPP candidate, but we managed to mobilize a lot of support from the general public. And what is good about this election is that you find people more enthusiastic. You see so many people participating in the process by making donations, by appearing in the rallies. So that is a demonstration of the democratic movement here. You get moved, touched by so many people, and their enthusiasm really give you the hope that this place will get better and better.
You've served in quite a few positions in DPP governments. You've also served as the chairperson of the DPP and as a presidential candidate. Can I ask you what you think the opposition pan-green camp or the DPP needs to do to perhaps win back the people's trust over the next years to perhaps return to power in the future?
I think the DPP has to face a situation which is also faced by all other political parties in different countries. I mean, that is, we're facing a very difficult world economy, and the world is changing so fast, and every country and every government is facing this challenge of governance. So you have to demonstrate it, and then convince the public that you do have the ability to govern, and especially in the area of economic governance. We need to go through a process with the public. It's a process of being with the public and be close to them and have this genuine feelings of what their difficulties are and what they really want. And then you have to come up with the ability to manage the limited resources that a country or a government can employ.
Do you feel the party perhaps needs to move a little bit away from political theory and more to practical matters? Is that what the heart of it is?
Yeah, the practical, it's not about theory. Theory is important because you have to establish your value and your priorities. And secondly, you have to share your value and your priority with the public. And so it requires a process of dialogue and communication with the public, in the sense that you want to get the true feeling from them, but at the same time you want to get close to them and tell them what you want to do for them, and then you have to have the ability to generate the kind of consensus you need from the public. If you don't have that sort of consensus, you won't have that sort of political asset or capital to carry out whatever reform or make whatever changes that you need to make in order to make the economy sounder. So I have been a policymaker for a long time, but still, it's not a matter of looking for the smartest people to come up with the smartest idea. What is most important is to communicate with the public. In the past, the DPP is very good in communicating with the public in the political area, but we need to develop that ability to communicate in terms of public policies.